Welcome back to Fort Myers, Florida, home of the Twins spring training, as the Twins are getting set to take on the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers to kick off the spring season. And we are honored to be joined by Dustin Morse, the guy who basically gets me everything you see on Fox 9. He comes through with amazing things for us, sets us up with Correa, with Rocco, with Byron Buxton, all great stuff over the years. And first off, I want to thank you for that.
Well, thanks for having me. I mean, that's quite a shout out. I mean, it's part of my job. I'm just appreciative of all the media members and social media coverage that we get. Throughout the 6-7 weeks we're down here, it's pretty fun to see you. You're having a good time, and we're getting a lot done. So Twins baseball is here, and we get to play kind of for real tonight. So it's fun to have baseball back.
Yeah, I think this is a great way to start the season, especially John Anderson is going to be honored by the Twins tonight. You have Paul Molitor here. I saw Glenn Perkins walking around the ballpark. So you know how much as the Twins mean to Minnesota, John Anderson means just as much to the University of Minnesota and to the state.
I just got a chance to talk to John. He's been a great friend of our program, and hopefully he feels the same. It's a great partnership, and it's always fun to see the college kids come in and kind of get to see Correa and Buxton, and they get to face Chris Paddock tonight too, so no easy task. I think over the years they've had some pretty good battles. Royce Lewis might have put on a show a couple years ago when we played. But John's great. He's a great friend. You see him around town. It's been a long run for him, and he's winding down, so it's an honor to have him here tonight.
You look at your team, and your job is to obviously promote these players, and you now have star players to promote with Carlos Correa and with Royce Lewis, and how they are not only stars in Twins territory but across the major leagues. So how does your job change when these players, stars, continue to arise and attract more attention from the media and from fans?
Step one of the job is to get to know them. What do they like? What don't they like? Not everybody's comfortable with the spotlight. Generally, the superstars are comfortable with it. Carlos is amazing. He's amazing to work with. The thing I like about Carlos is he knows his schedule. He knows his routine. He'll give me a yes or no right away. He might tell you yes, but then he'll come back and tell me, well, it's not going to work. I'm going to get some early hitting in, or he's got to get his stretching in, or even just sometimes meeting with a nutritionist, or all the things that go into being a superstar. That comes first. So I always tell them baseball first, but my goal is to get to know them, kind of know what's possible. After a while, I can start saying yes or no for them, kind of knowing what they're willing to do. But the national media starts showing up a little bit more. We had our media day yesterday, and it was probably more stations than we had the year before because we won the division, and we've got some big name guys. Pablo Lopez, Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, and Royce Lewis is in demand as anybody. It kind of reminds me back to the Mauer days when everybody wants to sit down with Royce. And guess what? Royce is sitting down with everybody. He's the greatest kid. He's a kid that I've worked with in a long time in terms of knowing what comes with the territory. And he's just been a smile every day. He's having fun. He says this is a game. If you can't have fun, you got problems. So he's embraced the spotlight, and it's fun to work with a guy like that. And then not to mention, it's a time for me in spring training to learn the new guys. We've got a lot of new players here as well. I kind of rebuilt that bullpen, and I lean on those relievers quite a bit for some of those interviews that you ask for and others ask for. They've got a little more time on their hands, so it's just spring training is a great time to meet all these guys, get to know them. We have some fun team events. We had a team party the other night hosted by the Pole Lads. We've got some egg tossing contest coming up that Rocco's been talking about, and then we have a poker night. So spring training, my wife jokes it's spring break, but I remind her it's spring training. I'm working every day.
I know. Well, you guys do put in long hours because everybody back there is going like, oh, Jim, look at your face. You're tan. It's beautiful. But, we're here. Yesterday we were here before 7 a.m. and we were doing live shots till after 7 at night. So we saw the sun rise and set at this ballpark. And I'm sure you have many days like that.
Yeah, it's fun to keep track of your steps because you're on your feet for most of the days, and it's 46 consecutive days of getting up at 5 in the morning because you got to get here and get some things organized because the players start showing up earlier and earlier. It's actually a little bit of a later camp than it used to be. Rocco likes to kind of ease into the day. Back in the Gardy days, it was, you were in here quite early, but you get used to it. It's kind of comes with the territory, right? And every day there is something. If you like video games, MLB The Show, they're in here setting up today for tomorrow. Sony will take these unbelievable headshots of all the players to get such a realistic game. So that's tomorrow. You know, we talked about Media Day yesterday. We'll shoot some commercials down here. Just every day's something, and it's my job with the talented team around me to pull it all off. And like I said, it's 46 consecutive days of stuff, and we try to knock out a lot down here in spring training.
46 days, that sounds like a whole season, and then the whole season starts after that with 162. But for fans that may be watching this that are kind of on the fence, is it worth it to go down to Florida? I say it's so worth it because it's such a different experience. It's a whole different animal. The players are in a different mood. They're more willing to interact than going to Target Field. It's just a better vibe for everybody, especially if you come early before the games get rolling.
Jim, I agree with you 100%. Spring training, there's a positive vibe throughout the year. It's a very fan-friendly stadium as well. As you can see, the fans are right there watching our guys practice. They're running through the fans to get from field to field. And, you know, I give a little talk early in the year before workouts start here and remind the guys that our fans and the kids out here just want a quick picture, want a quick autograph, or even just a handshake or a knucks. And it means the world to them. And it's so fun to see the smiles on not just the kids, but the adults too have a pretty good time kind of meeting their I don't know, their favorite player is just here. It's awesome. And the sun's generally out, you know, palm trees, sunshine, green grass, and baseball. I mean, Jim's right. You should get down here in Fort Myers and have fun.
All right, looking at this team from your standpoint, you've been around here 17 years now. You go to put out positive stories, but there are so many positives with this group. I mean, you don't have to really generate anything this year and say, well, you know, the potential is here that this guy could be okay. You have legitimate potential superstars to go with the superstars you already have here. So how does your job change with those players to get the message out to Twins territory?
Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, our fans are very passionate about winning. They love winning. We got some playoff wins last year, and I'll tell you, it's an addiction. You want to win more. Trust me, everybody inside of this organization wants to go deeper and deeper into the postseason. So that's the goal. That was Rocco's message when he gave the opening speech, which is it's a time where it's a pretty powerful message to a group of 60 players in there, and you got to keep in mind only 26 make the team. You know, there's also some competition down here of trying to make a team that's a good team, a division winning team. We won it last year, so we're the favorites to win it again. And you know, you see guys step up, you see guys tinker with things in the offseason, who kept you know, in shape, who didn't. You know, those types of battles within the room, they talk to each other. And this group, they feed off of each other. It's pretty fun to see. Kind of on the pitching side, Pablo Lopez sets the tone. I mean, he's here every morning at 6 in the morning. He writes in his journal, he prepares, he works out, he stretches, he eats right, talks to the other pitchers. And Chris Paddock is a guy that we didn't see a lot of last year that is so fun to be around. I'm sure you've got some interviews with him. Call him the sheriff. He's pitching tonight. He's been working on a pitch or two and you know, rehabbed, and he's really in the best shape of his life, he says. So hopefully he's got a year that Twins fans will just look forward to those starts that he makes. So expectations are great. I think internally we expect a lot out of this team. We expect to win the division and carry on like we did last year. And it's, you know, our superstars on the other side of the ball too. Correa and Buxton and Royce and even Eddie Julian and some of the kids, Matt Wallner, that are stepping up. Ryan Jeffers and Christian Vasquez behind the plate. You know, leaders kind of run this team. So it's a great combination of some veterans, some guys that have established themselves, and then some rookies that are kind of stepping into the spotlight too. So very excited. I think on paper our bullpen is a lot of chatter around camp about, you know, one of the top 2 or 3 in the league right out of the gate here. So some nice names have been added. Justin Topa had a great year last year, and he's coming in. Awesome guy. If you haven't talked to him yet, great interview. Just really excited too. And not to mention Duran. I don't know if you've seen him throw a few bullpens, but Rocco was nice and didn't line him up to face the Gophers tonight. So Duran gets another day, and then we'll see how he looks in the next handful of spring games.
Yeah, you talk about guys like Ryan Jeffers. He was kind enough to let us mic him up here at spring training, and he shared a little bit about how his job is almost more important behind the plate than when he's at the plate. And here's a look at that quick feature.
A drive to
Ryan Jeffers is coming off a career year at the plate.
Righty more sinker slider, lefty is four-seam changeup.
But the 26-year-old may be more critical to the Twins' success behind it.
I think it's I get to play the mental game. I get to be in control, per se, of what pitches are called, and you're kind of the quarterback on the field. So I think I enjoy that part of the game. I love the game calling side of things. That's really fun for me. So, I really enjoy it.
What's the vert on that? Velo?
Jeffers' role behind the plate is complex, framing pitches for strikes, but also framing the pitchers' minds so that they have the trust in the calls he makes.
Cutter more strikeable for you than the sweeper?
And I think gaining that trust and building that relationship is extremely important for what we try and do day in and day out. The pitcher has to trust me to make the right pitch calls and trust me that I'm going to get the job done, and I got to trust him to bounce ideas back and forth. So I think there's a mutual relationship there, symbiotic relationship that we both kind of built on trust.
Manager Rocco Baldelli knows it's a lot the Twins are asking of their catchers as they are practically playing two positions at once.
When you have to make sure your skills are ready and that you are prepared to play, but also you're fully expected to be responsible for another player, and the guy that has the ball in his hand for the entire game on the mound, that's your responsibility too. That's a big deal. It's a lot. It takes a lot to be in charge of a lot of that. The pitcher's in charge of taking care of themselves too, but it takes more than just the pitcher.
How'd you feel? Good? I thought it looked good. Yeah, everything coming out good. Really good sweeper, was moving right, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool what Ryan Jeffers does and the access that he grants, because he trusts you to set him up with a story that's not going to put him in a bad spot. And, that's part of what you've done is these players, you have credibility with them. They understand it, so then they're more comfortable talking with us. Because if a player doesn't want to do a story or is nervous, it's not even worth turning on a camera.
Yeah, I think it's my job to identify who's comfortable doing what and put them in the best position to be successful at whatever they're doing, whether it's an interview or a community event. And Ryan's become a go-to guy. He's very polished. He always says the right thing. So it's PR guy's dream too, and he can deliver a good interview. But it's also recognizing, some players have social anxiety. They don't like public speaking, or English is their second language. So you try to find ways to make guys comfortable in front of the camera. One of my favorites was Eduardo Escobar, who didn't speak a lot of great English, but he had such a personality. So I just knew if I put him into certain interviews, he would shine, and he became this fan favorite with just that lovable personality and that humor that he was able to deliver. So yeah, that's part of my job too, is just identifying what guys are comfortable doing, and kind of the personalities of the media members too, and try to match those up. And I've had a pretty good run. It's been a good clubhouse to work with, a lot of great players, and I've got a lot of great people around me that help me out too. So it's been fun.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, Dustin, thank you so much. It's game day. We appreciate the time. And this is